Hey everyone, this is the last section in this semester, and after this video, we're gonna do a review section. So in this video, we're gonna finish section 4.5, Marginal Analysis. The first paragraph shows us, in marginal analysis, a decision to increase production is analyzed by weighing potential benefits against the potential cost. So this one tells us potential benefits against potential cost. So next part, in marginal analysis, the decision is based on a unit change in input. So here we know a unit change, that means for the input variable, suppose it was X, then a unit change just means increasing by 1 unit, so just the X plus 1. All right. This is just means 1 unit, increasing by 1 in the input value. Marginal analysis use the derivatives. That is because here potential benefits are against the potential cost. So actually this one means just the potential benefits per potential cost. Benefits per cost. So we feel like, oh, all right, this is the idea of the derivative. Yeah, that's true. That's why we use derivative, because actually we are talking about this part. Marginal analysis use derivative, and from section 4.1, we have learned that an estimate of change between the first point Q, f of Q, and a nearby point Q plus H. If the input is Q plus H, then the corresponding output is f of Q plus H. So the horizontal difference is just the Q plus H minus Q, which is H. And the H cannot be a very big number, because we have to make sure that these 2 points are nearby. So, and then on the function f of x is a continuous function. So the change between these 2 points is actually f prime of Q. So f prime of Q is the derivative of the first point, f prime of Q, multiplied by H, where H is the horizontal difference. So we have learned this part from section 4.1. This is we use this formula to estimate the change between 2 points Q, f of Q, and the nearby point Q plus H, f of Q plus H. So and this part we talk about a unit change in input. That means the input variable can only be x plus 1. So the original input value is x, then increasing by 1 unit is just x plus 1. So here we use H is 1, because from x to x plus 1, the horizontal difference is just 1. Using H is 1 in this formula, and so that means we just plug in H equals to 1. Then we have the formula f prime of Q. So that means, all right, let's rewrite this sentence. An estimate in the amount of change between the first point Q, f of Q. All right, this is the same point. And the second point, because H is 1, so the second point is Q plus 1, f of Q plus 1. The amount of change is f prime of Q. On the first part, the amount of change is f prime of Q multiplied by H. Then we plug in H is 1, so we have this one. So actually, all right. This part is a restatement of the first part by plugging H is 1. All right, the next part, this one, you can see the first part, we talk about the marginal cost of producing the Q plus first unit. And the next one is the same, but just we change cost to revenue. And then similar, producing to selling. So let's see, let's talk about the details. The first one, of course, this is the function of a cost. So we use C. C just is the first line of cost. And then for the next one, revenue, we just use R. So the first function, C of Q, it is a continuous function, gives the cost of producing Q units. So this function means, all right, when the input value is Q, that means producing Q units, and the corresponding output, y, the output variable, is actually the cost. So now we know what is the function C of Q. Then an estimate of the cost of producing one additional, so this is the keyword, one additional. It must be 1. It cannot be 2 or 1.5. So that actually, this is still from 1 unit change. So it must be 1 additional unit. It's given by C prime of Q. So that means the starting point is Q. And then C prime of Q. Because we plug in H is 1. So C prime of Q multiplied by 1 is just a C prime of Q. So that means just the 1 additional unit is given by C prime of Q. And this C prime of Q is called the marginal cost of producing the Q plus first unit. Because C prime of Q is just the C prime of Q multiplied by 1. That is just the estimate between Q f of Q and Q plus 1 of Q plus 1. So we can say, all right, this is the marginal cost of producing the Q plus first unit. And we have the same idea for revenue. So the revenue is still 1. The keyword is still 1 additional unit. And then this time, instead of using the C for the cost function, we use R for the revenue function. And the R prime of Q is called the marginal revenue from selling the Q plus first unit. And this part is about the interpretation. So first, let's finish. We will come back to this part later after we finish one example in this part. All right. So please finish example 1. 1 ABC. Please pause the video here. Alright, so for the first one, 1a. For 1a, we know C of x is the function is the cost function. And let's read it word by word. When 2.4 thousand microwave ovens are produced, the total cost, so we know we are going to use the cost function, C of x. The total cost of production is increasing. Increasing means, alright, we know it must be positive. Increasing by how much? Increasing by the unit for this 13 is $100 per 1,000 microwave ovens. So we know the per tells us, all right, this is the derivative. So the function is C of x. And because this is a derivative function, so we have to use C prime of something. What is the something? It's given here. 2.4 thousand microwave ovens. So just a C prime of 2.4. And please pay attention to the unit. Increasing means positive, so positive 13, and the unit is right here. $100 per 1,000. Alright, this is the first one. And the second one, marginal cost. Because this is a cost function. Marginal cost is measured in cost unit per single production unit. That is because you can see the keyword. A unit change in unit. one additional. So the unit should be per single production unit because the input is only increased by 1 unit per single unit. And then B, C prime of 4, C prime of 2.4. Actually, this is the same thing, but the difference is for this one, you have to convert the derivative to the new unit. And in question 1, the unit is $100 per 1,000 microwave ovens. the new unit is just dollars, not $100 per microwave oven. So this one, all right, this is the old unit, which is $100 per thousand. Per just means divided by. Per thousand microwave ovens. So let's see what can be cancelled. 100,000 can be cancelled. All right, so we have 10 here. Because 1,000 is 100 multiplied by 10. So you can see here, then this one is, so that means, let's change it to a blue one. $1,300 per 1,000 microwave ovens is the same as $1.3 per 10 microwave ovens. But still, this one is different from the new unit. Dollars, the denominator is the same, dollars, but the denominator is just the oven. But we have 10 ovens, so you can just pull it out. That's the same as, so it means 1.3 Then actually, this one is easier. You can see 1.3. Oh, excuse me. This one should be 13, because 13, so it is 13. Then 13. But here, since we have the 10, we can just use 13 divided by 10. Then this one is the same as 1.3, and the unit just dollars per microwave oven. So you can see now the unit is the same as the new one. Then we just use 1.3. And question C, what is the marginal cost for the 2,401st microwave oven? This is just a all right. So here the 2.4 means, let's check the unit. What is the input unit? Input is X. The input unit is 1,000 microwave ovens. So 1,000, the unit is 1,000. Then we know 2.4 just means 2,400 microwave ovens. So the marginal cost is just the X plus 1. All right. So this is our original input value, and plus 1 will be 2004 first. 2,401st microwave oven. So that is from here, 2.4, because the unit is 1,000. So 2.4 just means 2,400 microwave ovens. And then the marginal cost is X plus 1. So we just use this one plus 1. That is how we got 2,400 first. So what is the marginal cost of, that is the same question. So actually you can see that, first let's finish it. It's just the $1.3 per microwave oven. So you can see actually the three questions, A, B, C, they are all talking about the same thing. But actually we only care about C. Because for this section, we are talking about the marginal cost. The marginal cost for the X plus 1, it must be X plus 1, 2,401st microwave oven. But in order to answer this question, we have to finish A first, and then B second, then transfer the unit. So let's see why we have to finish A and B first. So if we are not given A and B, we are given C directly and ask you what is the marginal cost for this one. So from here, we know we have to solve for C prime of this one minus 1, which is 2,400. And because the unit is 1,000, so we know we have to transfer it to 2.4. So the original question is what is the C prime of 2.4? But because the C prime of 2.4, the unit is actually $100 per, pay attention to the denominator. The denominator $100 is okay, but for the denominator, it's 1,000 microwave ovens. It's not per single, because for this one, it's just the x plus 1 is a per single microwave oven. It cannot be 1,000, so we have to divide it by 1,000. That is 100 divided by 1,000. It just that just means 1 divided by 2. So 30 divided by 10, which is 1.3. All right. So for this one, this is a very important example. Make sure if you are not given A and B, you are only given C. Make sure you know how to solve for this one. And then D is actually about the interpretation. So let's go back to the interpretation part. A sentence of interpretation. So this one shows both of them, marginal cost, and the second one, marginal cost, and the second one is the marginal revenue. So the sentence, a sentence of interpretation for both of them, we cannot use the word marginal. So does not use the word marginal, but may be written in the same manner as a sentence of interpretation for a derivative. So let's see. For the cost, we use this part. The additional cost of producing the Q plus first. Q plus first. So the first keyword, additional cost or additional revenue. And the second one is Q plus 1. Unit. So, and do not forget the unit. So let's see. For example, this one. The next microwave oven is the unit. So make sure you have to include the unit. And then is C prime of Q, dollars, or just the output unit of C. And this one is similar. R prime of Q, dollars, or output units of R. And the keyword here, per single production unit. So marginal cost or marginal revenue, actually they are the same thing. Is measured in cost of revenue units per keyword, single production unit. All right, so let's go back to question D. Question D, we use the interpretation part. The first keyword, additional. For this one, we are going to interpret C prime of 2.4. For example, let's interpret this one. And we know this one is the same as that one. So the next one is producing the x plus 1, which is 2.4, means 2,400 plus 1. That is this one. And the unit is just dollars, you can see here. That is just 1.3, because the unit is dollars. They are the same thing. So all right, next let's pause the video and finish example 2, A, B, C, D, E. All right, so for example 2, we are given a cost function C of x. The unit, the output unit is dollars, and this one gives the hourly production cost. So the input variable x is x television size. The domain is from 5 to 35. The first question: what are the hourly production cost when first keyword, when 5 television sets are produced each hour? So we know the input variable x is 5. So this one is not about the derivative. We just ask about the production cost. So this is just a C of 5. So C of 5 is 731 point. Just plug in x is 5. Just plug in x equals to 5. Then we have C of 5. The answer is $731.9. And the next one, B. First the keyword, how quickly. Then we know it's about the derivative. So C prime of something. And then let's keep reading. All right, still 5 television sets. So the input variable is 5. input value is 5. And so this one is asking we are given c of x in this one. So the question is asking what is the c prime of 5? So by using our calculator, we get 97, and the unit is output unit per input unit. Output unit is dollar. Input unit is television size. So it's just the dollars per unit. And the next one, C. C is a linearization. This is the first section, 4.1 of this chapter. And the formula, you have to memorize the linearization formula. It is f sub L of x, which is f of c, plus f prime of c, multiplied by x minus c. This is the formula for a linearization function, so make sure you memorize this one. And then c sub L of x, what is f of c? Or what is the c of x? From question 1a, from question A, we know the number is 731.9, and then plus f of the derivative. The derivative is question B, which is 97. So plus 97 multiplied by x minus the c is actually just 5. So x minus 5. And this is the linearization function. And question D is about the interpretation. So the keyword is the additional. The question is, write a sentence of interpretation for the marginal cost. And the last keyword is actually marginal cost. So for the interpretation question, because we may have a lot of interpretation questions asking you to interpret the slope or average rate of change, but as long as you see the word marginal cost or marginal revenue, the keyword here is always the additional. So the additional cost of producing the x plus 1. So x plus 1 here, the value is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. C prime of 5 is just 97. And then the next one, complete the following statements using marginal analysis. So for this one, the keyword here, you can see the additional cost, alright, it's the same question, cost function. But here, pay attention to this one, example E. The producing the 21st. Let's compare this one with the last question D. Here we have 21st, and last one we have 6. But this one is just, this is 6. But 97 is a C prime of 5. So similar, this is 21st. Then this part should be C prime of 20. Because C prime of Q means the Q plus first. So we have to plug in X is 20 instead of 21. So pay attention to question E. Then we are given C of X. So use your calculator, then we get 60. And so the next one, this is the first one, this is the second one. There are two different questions. And this one is the 21st, but this one is just the 30. When 30 television sets are produced each hour, the hourly cost of producing is increasing by, so this one you just plug in C prime of 30. So let's compare this one. If you see the first, then you have to use C prime of this one minus 1. But for this one, we don't have any first, so we just plug in C prime of 30. And then the solution is 82. Alright, next one, please still pause the video and finish example 3 ABC. Alright, for the first one, A, C prime of 10 is 10.720. Convert the units before filling in the blanks in the following sentence of interpretation of marginal cost. So this one, let's finish this part first. C prime of 10. So of course, just when 10, all right, let's double check the input variable. Input variable C of Q, the output unit is $1 million. The output description is cost of producing. The cost of producing blah blah. And the input variable is Q. Input unit is made in barrels. And the domain is from 0 to 17. So the unit for the 10 here should be made in barrels. And this one is made in barrels, so you don't have to make any change for the 10. So we just use 10 because they share the same unit. Both of them are made in barrels. But then let's see, what about this one? This one, the cost of production is increasing by dollars per barrel. So here, let's see what is the unit for this one. The unit is output unit per input unit. Output unit is made in dollars. And the input unit is just made in barrels. So you can see million can be cancelled. Then the unit is just dollars per barrel. All right. So you can see, all right, they match. They are the same unit, dollars per barrel, dollars per barrel. So that means we can just use this number directly, 10.720. And then the next part, or using the form commonly used in economics. So the first part, this is the first way to interpret it, and this is the second way to interpret it. Similar, the keyword is the additional. The additional cost produced because we have to use this one. 10, we cannot use 11, just the 10 plus 1, 11. That is not correct because the unit of the input variable is made in. So actually here the 10 means 10, here this made in. So this 10 means 10 made in barrels. But this one should be 10 million plus 1. So instead of using 11, we have to use 10 million plus 1. And then the unit is just the dollar because it's dollars per barrel. So just 10.720. Then we do the same thing for B and C. B is the same. It's just 10 million barrels. And this time we have to use this one. And for this one, it's the same. The 10 means 10 million. So 43.09. And this is the additional. The additional revenue from sale of the steel. 10 means 10 million. So Q plus 1 is just 10 million plus 1. The unit is just dollars. Dollar per barrel. So it's just 43.09. And then for the last one, if the revenue from the sale of 10 million barrels of crude oil is blah, 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 blah. So for this one, we have to estimate the revenue from the sale of this one, barrels of oil, include units with your answer. So for this one, it's just $438.9 million. Plus, pay attention to the unit here. So for this one, I show you all the units plus 1 barrel multiplied by the derivative, that is 43. So the blue one is the blue parts, and then the yellow one is actually that is just 43.09 dollars per barrel. This is this part. So we got this one from here, and we got this one from here. Alright, and then let's finish this one. It's just $438,900,000. Alright, so this one, we can just escape this part because this is the optional. This one will not be on the test or similar. Let's skip this part. Example 4. So please pause the video and finish example 4. Alright, for question A, C prime of Q, we are given C of Q. This is C of Q. So just this is the question in last chapter. Q square minus 1.96Q plus 2.7. Alright. And then B, complete the model for revenue. For revenue, alright, so we know the input variable is Q. Q, just the Q million boxes are sold. So we have to find the revenue by using this one. Alright. During a recent campaign, the sales price is actually $4 per box. Pay attention to the unit. It's box, $4 per box. But here, since we have million box, then of course the revenue should be $4 million. So, but here, pay attention to the unit. It's just $1 million. So $4 million. We have different ways. This is the first way, 4, and the unit is $1 million, and the second way is 4 million, and the unit is dollars. Both way work, but pay attention to the input variable is just the million boxes. So $4 per box, just the $4 million. And C, complete the derivative model. Oh, excuse me, it should be for Q. So because just Q million boxes, and each of them is $4 per box. So for Q in total, and then the derivative of R of Q is just the derivative of this one. It's just the 4. So R prime of Q is $4 per box, and this one gives you the rate of change. The rate of change in the revenue from the blah 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 blah, and Q is from 0 to 4. And then next one, complete the model for profit. So B is actually the revenue, and the A is actually the okay. So we only use B and C of Q because C of Q gives the total cost, and P of Q gives the revenue. D is actually talking about the profit. We know the profit is the revenue minus the cost, and the revenue from B is for Q. The profit, profit is revenue minus cost, and the cost is right here. So just minus the C of Q, which is 0.23 Q minus 0.98 Q squared plus 2.7 Q plus 0.2 million dollars. Alright, so question E, what is the marginal cost when $2 million bucks? So this is pay attention to the unit of Q. Q million boxes. And then this is the same, Q million boxes. So just a P prime of 2. And it is just this is a P of Q, so P prime of 2. That is just a 2.46. Unit is dollars per box. So you can see in the parentheses, we have this is the first way to ask the question, and this is the second way to ask you the question. Make sure you know how to answer both of them, and make sure you understand why they're the same thing. The marginal cost for the Q plus 1 It's the same as the marginal cost when blah blah produced. So the first one we only use the mailing box, but the second one, instead of using mailing, we use the 2 6 zeros instead of mailing. So this is all. That's all for section 4.5. So from next video, we are gonna start our review for the final exam. And feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.